8 Butterfly, the code, the brand, the lifestyle.
Greetings, it's the KHAOS being Cypher here with another chapter of Occult Reviews. I want to say a special thank you to everyone who's been tuning into the videos and everyone who's taken the time out to like, and for all the new subscribers, all the many new subscribers that we've gotten. Now in this chapter of Occult Reviews, we'll be getting into love, the heart chakra, and the power of the subconscious mind. We all know that the subconscious mind is very instrumental when we're talking about manifestation. But there's a certain vibration, there's a certain love code, there's a certain frequency that magicians must be able to harness if we're looking to manifest peace, health, wealth, prosperity, and whatever it might be that we would like to manifest in this particular existence for ourselves when it comes down to what we might define as good experiences.
And the true way out is through the dark side, going home. Universe, they told you, just if you don't believe me, go watch Thor. And Thor, when the dark elves come back, they talk about darkness is the world, nigga. Darkness is the world. You understand? And your world of light is a mistake. So what he's talking about is the reality behind even Asgard in all these places. You understand? What you think is so beautiful, this lit up cosmos, which is only 4% of what you're seeing, there's a dark matter and a dark energy that pushes that light forth. That dark mother is Aset. That dark energy is Asar. And that 4% light is Haru. You are in the realm of Haru, or Christ, where you work out consciousness to come to a level of Christ-like understanding, which is the vehicle or the middle point to discipline the animal self or human. So your consciousness is you as Christ, or Christ, where you work out consciousness to come to and the attributes that they gave a man are the attributes you are supposed to embrace internally, and it's actually the work of the heart chakra. Compassion for your flaws. Then I say next, your mother, who are the one who endowed you with most of these flaws. Believe it or not. She was believe it or not. She was the controller of your subconscious, and your father as well. Understand, find compassion in their own humanity and their own flaws. Look from their perspective. What did they know? My father said to me as I was giving it one day, you never, and you did, and you this. That nigga said, well, what do you think I got it from? Where do you think I learned from? What do you think I knew that was so special that I didn't give to you? I gave you what I knew. And I forgave him immediately. Because I started to understand. That he's just a man. And it allowed me to have compassion. It allowed me to begin to heal. It allowed me to forgive. It allowed me to be Jesus in all he did. My hunger was fed. I no longer had the hunger to tell him and do something and feel a certain way. I was full. I was complete in that moment with that thing. And each time something came up, I came back to recognize is, I came back to recognize what he said to me, and it became a guide for me to understand. Where did they learn it from? We think our mother knows some of shit and did the wrong thing. Yes, BG, magic is trauma therapy that you must deal with. That is the work. That is the work of humanity. The work of humanity is to go, everyone here has been through trauma. You're supposed to, because it's the trauma you asked for, because believe it or not, you picked your parents. I want you to think forward. If you didn't pick your parents, who did? Who did? Was it Jehovah, Yahweh, Ben Yahweh, Yahweh Ben Yahweh, Ben, Dr. Ben? Who the fuck picked your parents? I'll say to Dr. Ben, one of our masters. Who is it that picked your parents? If it wasn't you. And you didn't evaluate the flaws. And because you are not in time, you knew everything you would go through. But you also knew you would be ignorant of those things, which makes it the work. How many times have you heard in your basic metaphysical understanding? It's not the destination, it's the path. So if we are not in time, that means we know the destination, right? So what would you think? Maybe we created time so we can therefore experience the path?
So it's about that neutrality, electromagnetic harmonizing, getting in to that middle pillar, that place where you're neutral on the perspectives of this so-called reality, where you're not swaying into the light, or you're not completely composed of darkness, but you're somewhere in the middle right there, where you're no longer controlled by your emotions, or you're no longer completely callous. You're able to harness and use the capabilities of your so-called ego to your advantage, right? You're able to enter into the doorway in the door because you understand the Christ energy, forgiveness, unconditional love. I know it sounds like one of the simplest things, but it's a thing that somehow seems to be a little hurdle for a lot of us on this path, a lot of us on the journey, this journey that we call so-called life, even though we know that we're forever beings, because energy is forever. This so-called physical ship, Solomon's temple, is temporary. Let's get into some more information on the green. The heart chakra, that love space, that center, so that we can understand how to access, how to activate, and how to really wield our divine powers, our divine capabilities. Let's hear what Bill Donahue has to say about this.
Okay, thank you, Dave. I'm glad you did that. Well, so my conclusion here, when I'm looking at all of this wonderful stuff, incidentally, for those of you who might be here for the first time, this is the green lightsaber from Star Wars. This is the green lightsaber because remember, when the Jedi come back, and that's what we're waiting for. You can say you're waiting for the return of Jesus or Christ consciousness or the aliens. You're waiting for the return of the Jedi because they overcome the forces of darkness with green light. And as they come down, they will simply we got it, man. It'll always be here. It'll always be here. I'll always think of you in the green light. Okay. So we meditate on these revelations of Dr. Norby. DNA contains photons. Light from above touches the green of the earth, inside and outside of animals and humans, and stimulates DNA. Therefore, we understand an amazing thing, that even though we were touching on before we thought we knew. It wasn't clear. Now it's clear. You see what I'm saying to you? We used to say, well, if we meditate, we collapse the wave and the particle comes in and we'll be in a harmony with God. But we didn't really know. But all the time I'm thinking to myself when I used to say that stuff, and wait a minute here. I mean, the brain, you know, there's got to be firings in the electricity of the brain. Something's really got to be happening here. Now we know how it happens. In other words, we used to think we knew, but now we know face to face. Now we understand. In other words, you know what's so exciting about this? Now we know how God does this. We understand what it's about. See, in your meditation, you draw through the pineal gland the light or the magnetism which enters your body and touches the hema or hemoglobin or the green, which in turn sends forth the photons outside of your body. Angles of light coming down to us and are carried to their destination. And more often than not, they're carried to their destination on wings of music. One of the things that, keep this in mind, because I know with a lot of New Age people, they make up their minds, say, oh no, this is the way it is, there's no other way. Because when we do meditation here, we do music. And the reason I do it is because that's what Buddha said to do, and that's what Pythagoras said to do. There's a lot of people that come in here and say, well, I can't meditate here because the music distracts me. That's exactly what it's supposed to do. Distract you from what you think you're supposed to be doing to meditate. Okay? But this is what Dr.
So, play some music. Get yourself in the mood. Free your mind. Meditate. Take it seriously. Don't take yourself for granted. Spend some time with yourself. Get into understanding the emotions that you're harnessing within yourself. Because if you don't, manifestation is off the table. Or, let's put it this way, manifestation of the things that you would rather manifest in the present is off the table. Because then you're just going to be all over the place. Your focus is not going to be on the things that you want. And we all know how that's going to go as far as manifestation goes. Love of the thing.
Song was Your Love is a Supernatural Thing. Y'all look it up. First record I played on. Your love, check it out, is a supernatural thing because you can't control real love. You can't fall in it and fall out of it. It's coming from the quantum realm. It's like a storm comes over. You just feel it. You're in it. You exist in it. You can't get out of it. You can't say, I used to love that person. You didn't love them. You liked them a lot. When you're in the space, there is love, which is potential, that is vibrating if you are on the right love train. Now, if you're on the hate train, the anger train, guess what? In the idiom, in the quantum space, you project that. The one thing is, and I'm going to break this down and let you ask some questions here. There is universal laws. And one of the universal laws is that if you are in stress mode, if you're in anger, fear, worry, grief, victimhood, taking things personal, your energy condenses. Your energy compresses into you and your material body gets tighter. You squeeze down on everything. You're angry. You're gritting your teeth. You're mad. You wake up in the morning. You're upset. You watch the news. You're upset more. You study the history. You're more upset. You talk to your homies and they're all in struggle land too. You've been to the struggle convention. All you do is talk about the problem, the problem, the problem. Your body condenses and now you can't project as much into the quantum field. The universe is not going to crash itself for you. So it limits you. And you become full of tissue with your issues contained. So the tissues become so condensed that now your power to project into the next realm becomes limited. You're still creating more of what you desire because that's what you're asking for. But when you get into the love mode, when you get into forgiveness and gratitude, when you get into a space of pure love and letting go, all of a sudden your energy expands and it begins to spiral. The golden mean, everything begins to spin, huh? You begin to project. You become a generator, huh? You are now in a quantum field. You're creating a vortex of energy, which is projecting from you and going in every direction.
To the same experience. Hell, I don't even know if I can handle it for y'all.
Haven't been able to stop thinking about it. Don't worry, he can't hear us over the blender. He swears by his all-natural sex potion, but it's just Irish moss and Viagra.
The coach sees us while you